good people. My name is Rehab, and I am a mom of three and currently living with diabetes, a condition that I discovered in 2020, beginning of 2020, and this was a few months after the birth of my daughter. So up to date, I'm not really sure if this was connected to my pregnancy because my daughter was a big baby, I would say. She weighed 5.7 kilos. So I'm not sure if that condition was connected in any way with my pregnancy, but that's how it is. So after I discovered that I was diabetic, I lived in denial for quite some time. And after I was given the medication, there are those side effects that come with the medication. And at some point, I quit taking the medication, mentioning the side effects to my doc, and I said, I can no longer take these medications because they have this side effect on me, but the doctor insisted that I continue taking the medication. But on the other hand, I think I used to assure myself that probably this was a mistake, so I even stopped taking the medication, and that denial went on for quite a while. But after some time again, I went to the hospital, I checked again my blood sugars, and I discovered they were still high. So I was now ready to face what was ahead of me, and I agreed to take the medication as was advised by the doctors. So since 2020, I think I started taking the medication correctly in 2021, and since that time I am on medication throughout. So I really try to check on my diet, and it is not easy. I have really tried to avoid the processed foods and try to do with what is available in the market. So today I'm going to be making some food for myself, my daughter, and a girl who is living with me. So my other two kids are away at the moment. My eldest is in school, and my second born is out visiting his uncle because it's school holidays. So today I'm going to be making some yummy food. So I'll be making food that we call mokimo, and it is a mixture of potatoes, githeri. Githeri is a mixture of maize and beans that have been boiled, and then we use the green leafy vegetables. So I'm going to use a vegetable we call kahorora, similar to the pumpkin leaves. So that is what I'm going to be using. And then I'll also be using some githeri that I mentioned. And then I have my pumpkin, my potatoes, and some green bananas. I know there's a lot of starch in this food, so for me, on the side, I prepare another set of vegetables so that I do not take too much of the starchy food. But for the rest of the family, they are good to go, so they can have as much as they love. So I'm going to start preparing this meal. So I will show you the end result, and you can also join me as we prepare this yummy food. So this is what I use to cook my mokimo because it cooks a bit faster in here as compared to when I'm using a normal sufuria. So I'm going to begin by putting in my potatoes, the bananas. So I'll start by putting in my potatoes, bananas, and the pumpkin into the pot. So that is what I'm going to begin with. So I already have my potatoes, my pumpkins, and the bananas inside the pot. So up next, I'm going to put in the green leafy vegetables. So they will boil first before I put in my githeri. So to make sure that the vegetables are really even on the food, so this is how I prepare it. I wash it thoroughly, so I have already washed the vegetables and they are very clean. So next I'm going to put some salt. So I put in some salt so that the vegetables can cook. Sometimes when you cook without salt, you'll find that the vegetables will not spread evenly on the food. So cutting the vegetables into very, very tiny pieces. Alright, so I cut my vegetables into tiny pieces, and then I'm going to put them on my, look at the huge bunch of vegetables that I had, and look at what I have now. So once you add salt to the vegetables, they become something like this. So I'm going to put the vegetables on my mokimo, or on my potatoes and pumpkins. So when you put salt onto the vegetables, it makes them release some water. So as you're putting it in, you put it in together with the water that the pumpkin is released. And so this is what I have right now. So this is how my food looks like at the moment. So I'm going to put this on the fire, and then once it's ready, I'll put in my githeri and then mash my yummy yummy mokimo. So we're going to put the lid. So I'm going to cover my food with the lid so that I can put it on the fire, and make sure it's tightly closed. Yippee, we are ready. Alright, so I've put my food on the fire and we will wait for it to cook. And once it's ready, I'm going to mash it, and then we are going to enjoy our mokimo. So please remember, when you're cutting your pumpkin, I also do not throw away this. So once I'm done making my food, I'll put it on a pan, and then I will dry it completely and later use it as a delicacy. So I'm going to keep this, which I will use later for some very, very amazing nutrients. So whenever you're cooking your pumpkin, keep the leaves, because this will make another very, very nutritious delicacy rich of nutrients. So I'll keep that aside for later. So we are going to wait for our food to cook, and see you later as we add the githeri and mash our food. Maybe something that I forgot to mention is that when I put my potatoes, the bananas and the pumpkins in the pot, I also added 2 cups of water. So the food has to boil with some water, and then you give it around 30 minutes for it to completely cook, so that we can later add our githeri and then we mash the food. So meanwhile, I'm munching some groundnuts which I had pan fried. So here are my groundnuts, so I'll enjoy this as I wait for my food to cook. So see you in the next 30 minutes. It's approximately 30 minutes since I placed my pot on the fire, and this is what we have going on right now. Yeah, my mokimo is nicely cooking. So this is what we got. So I'll wait for a few more minutes, and at this point I'll have my githeri in the mokimo, and then let it cook for a few minutes before I can mash. So as you can see, I've put on a hat. It's freezing cold at this point. I thought the cold was ending with July, but look at us now. We are really freezing, so that's why I have my hat on. So I'm going to put in the githeri, and then we can mash after it boils for a few minutes. So let's do this. So here is the githeri, and before I put in the githeri, I'm going to push in my vegetables so that they can get further into the pots. So that is what I'm going to do right now. Let me lower this a bit so that you can be able to see that. I'm using a Mekol to cook. That's why my pot is that low. But I hope you can clearly see. So I'm going to push in the vegetables. So once my vegetables are deep into the pot, now I put in my githeri. So this githeri is made of green maize and yellow beans. So we have the green maize and the yellow beans. So I'm going to put it right in. And then I'll spread it out and cover my pot so that it cooks for a few more minutes before I can start mashing. So for me to mash the food, I'll have to make sure that the water is, maybe there's any water, it's very minimal, so that my food does not become like porridge. I don't want porridge. I want something that is a bit hard, but not so hard again. So I leave a little water before I start mashing. So let me leave it to boil for around 5 minutes, and then I'll start mashing. Alright friends, so here is our pot. Our food is ready, so the only remaining part is the mashing part. So I'm going to use a cooking stick to mash the food. Sometimes I use this, but I prefer using the cooking stick to mash my food. So let's do this. So you hold your cooking stick and you can first check if the food still has too much water. And once I immerse the cooking pot inside, it will tell me if there's too much water or not. So from what I can see right now, it doesn't have too much water, it just have enough for me to mash the food. So let's continue and mash our food until it is as fine as it can be. So I'll show you the final result in a few minutes. So let me mash the food and then I'll get back to you. Yakina nani how? So I'm just talking to my daughter who is in the other room. Ati yakina nani how? Wameambiwa na nani? Atifanya nini? Okay. So she's watching something on TV and she's narrating what is happening there. So let's continue mashing the food.
No, what are you doing?
I'm mashing the food so that we eat some mokimo.
Oh no, I don't love mokimo.
You don't want mokimo?
I don't love. I love mokimo and milk. I eat. With banana this.
Yeah. So this girl really loves mokimo, especially with milk. So we put in milk to make it at least edible for her.
Mommy,
Huh?
with this banana.
But we can't put in ripe bananas.
No.
Ripe bananas in mokimo. Okay, I don't know. Maybe I can try that one day. I don't know how that would taste like. But what I like is the mokimo that I'm making that has the green bananas. It has the pumpkin, the Irish potatoes, and then the green leafy vegetables and dairy. That is the kind of mokimo that I like.
Mommy, I have drawn in a pumpkin.
In a pumpkin?
Yeah.
Or you have drawn a pumpkin?
Can
My
I draw a
glasses are
pumpkin?
getting misty because of the steam from the food. That makes me not able to see clearly. you can see, our food is looking so yummy. So yummy. I'll be making some vegetables for myself especially. The rest don't really like it, but for me I'll have to make some vegetables on the side, because for all my meals I really need to include quite a large amount of vegetables and very little of the starchy food. So even after all this effort, I really take a little of this, because the Irish potatoes, that's a lot of starch. The bananas, again, that's starch. But I remember one of my doctors telling me that if I take green bananas, they really help in lowering...
And broccoli.
Yes, and broccoli. It really helps in lowering blood sugar. Maybe someone can advise me on that. I don't know how true that is. But yes, that is what I was told sometimes back, that I should try and take the green bananas. Yeah, so my food is almost ready. You have to mash and make sure that everything is even. The food is evenly distributed, the green leafy vegetables, the potatoes, the githeri and all.
Thanks.
So I'll show you what we got at the end. Some very, very yummy food. I don't know what's your favorite food, but for sure this is my very, very favorite food. What's your favorite, Tiffany?
Yeah.
What's your favorite food?
What's mine? Bananas.
Mokimo and ripe bananas or green bananas?
Green bananas.
Green bananas.
Yeah.
Okay, then we are on the same train.
Mommy.
Yes.
Look.
This food is also very yummy for breakfast. So
Mommy.
because I've cooked quite an amount, and we are just the three of us, so I think we'll also leave or have some for breakfast.
Mommy.
Something else that I really try to avoid is taking wheat products, which again really spike my sugar levels. So as much as possible, I avoid.
Mommy.
If I have no alternative,
Mommy.
then I eat just a little.
Mommy.
Yes.
Look. Thank you.
Okay, go paint in a book, not there.
Let me paint my hair. And
Paint
then
in a
an
book.
apple.
Maybe if there's someone out there who is suffering from diabetes and maybe you have some piece of advice for me, I would really, really appreciate it. Tell me what you're doing to keep your sugars low. And something else that I've been really trying, I've not managed yet 100% like I would want, is exercise. So I've been making my plans to do some exercise, but sometimes I find myself not able to have as much exercise as I would love. I do some in the house, so I can do some rope skipping in the house. Sometimes I dance. I used to do a bit of salsa, but I think of late I've become too lazy for that, or I don't know if it's the responsibilities on my shoulders, but of late I've really minimized on how often I do that. Sometimes I try dance alone in the house without going out, but again, that's not, there's no much motivation, especially when you're doing it alone. Yeah, but something else that I want to be doing very early in the morning is maybe a morning run, especially now that schools are closed.
Mommy.
I think I can do a morning run, maybe for around 30 minutes, and go around maybe where we live. So that is one thing that I really want to do. I also do a lot of walking. I really walk, but sometimes I feel like it's not enough. So let me show you what we got finally. So this is what we have. This is my mokimo, looking so yummy. The vegetables, as you can see, they have completely been distributed into my food, and We are ready to enjoy our mukimo, though I'll take some time to prepare the other vegetable that I will take along with this food. So thank you so much for watching my video. And if you're out there, you're a young person suffering from diabetes, maybe you can share your story with me and maybe give some advice to someone else who could be stuck on the same, not knowing what to do. So if you've overcome diabetes, you're a young person or maybe at whatever age, don't fear to share what you did or what you're doing to keep your sugars on check. So we are going to enjoy our yummy mukimo with my daughter and the other girl living with me.